Hi, living in Boulder vlog for the 6th of October, November 20th, 20. It's like Friday. Yesterday was Friday. It's 12:06 a.m. on a Saturday. Yesterday, I was working on the Exceed 4000 building. I can't upload it because the file's too big. It's like 200 megabytes. I saw today that the file that I had, it was like 900 megabytes. So then I broke off New York, but New York is like 650 megabytes and Exceed is like 250 megabytes. So there's something in the New York because it's not that big. It's not that much. I was like, is it because I put a bunch of these tiny little KMZ files, on top of each other to make the buildings? But I saved it and looked at the size of that, and it was 2 kilobytes. And the images, and I cut all the images out. I thought it was the images. All of the images were 9 megabytes. So there's a file in there that's like 500 megabytes or something. So I don't know what to do with that is. So I'm going to have to, you can't test how big the files are when they're inside of Google Earth. You have to save them, and then you can, right click more info and find out how big it is. But that's weird, bizarre. And it's destroying my progress. I can't get anything done. I lost 2 hours of work yesterday because I was in the zone or something and I forgot to save for 2 hours and it crashed. So then today I broke it apart. I broke New York out of Atlantis, but that crashed. And I crashed earlier today and I lost like a half hour of work. And so now it's crashing again. And so I literally can't do anything. It crashes if I try to view the images on my Google Earth, and I deleted a whole bunch of them. I saved the images as a folder first, and then I deleted, didn't do anything. So it's this weird, this is kind of like, it reminds me of with Dreamweaver. Sometimes Dreamweaver files get really corrupted, and I don't even know what the hell happens. I want to talk to a computer scientist one time and ask him what the fuck is going on, because it's like the code is the same. I look in the code of a table. This happened a few times. Like a page crashes all the time and it doesn't work on Google Earth. On Dreamweaver. It acts like it's just this gigantic file, but you look at this actual size of it, and it's like, but it doesn't look that big. Even when you look at the size, it's not that big, and then there's not that many words on it, and you're like, so then you pinpoint it, just by cutting stuff out down to like a single table, If the page consists of this one corrupted table, it acts like it's this gigantic page, and so if you just take but you look at the code, and the code's the same as any other page, and so then if you just delete that table and rebuild the thing from starts, it's like back to normal. It's kind of like with Wikipedia. When I copy, like Control A, Control C, just copy the text off Wikipedia. Like if I want to use that stuff for my timeline, then I just paste it onto my page, and then I sometimes it makes it so that the font is like hang on, what does it do again? Oh yeah, it makes it so like the page is all one font, and it becomes unmanageable, but you look at the text and it's all the same. And even when you copy it and then paste it onto the text editor of Dreamweaver, it's just text, that's corrupted, and that will screw everything up. I can't remember, drawing a blank of exactly what it does, but so you just have to manually type it. Oh, I know what it does. I'm having this problem ongoing with my deep history timeline. It makes them space. They're all spaced out. Oh, yeah, and it makes the I remember what it is. It makes the columns too wide. I make my website into a table that has 5 columns, like my timeline. And then the pages on my deep history timeline, if you see the ones that where the column is too wide or it doesn't fit into the page, that's because it's text from Wikipedia, and it's even text that I copied off of there and copied it on to, the text of Wikipedia and copied it back on. It still does it. And then if I copy it off there and copy it onto my text editor on my computer, it's not even anything to do with Macromedia, that maintains the corruption, and it still puffs the folders out, columns out. So I literally have to just manually type it myself so that it doesn't make poof out the columns. But the code's the same, so I have no idea what the hell is happening. So maybe that's what's going on with my Google Earth. There's just one of those files just happens to be corrupted, even though it looks the same as everything else. So I'm just going to have to save all the different folders. And then just do right click more info and see how many freaking megabytes it is. And if I can pinpoint it down to one that's way too big, I just delete it and rebuild it from new, and then I won't have that problem with my freaking TreeMover crashing, because if I look down, it's probably still crashed. I'm going to have to restart it, And so it's like I basically can't do anything because every time it crashes, I lose everything I've been working, and I never know when it's going to crash if I have to look at the images or I have to do something. So, yeah, totally unmanageable, and I don't think I've seen this before. I've never had it this bad on Google Earth. I've seen it with my website with Dreamweaver a lot of times, but not with my website, not with the Google Earth. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, I busted my ass all day today, but I didn't really get all that much done because my computer's not cooperating with me all of a sudden. So I was listening to, Kirsten and I watched Uncut Gems yesterday movie. It was her idea. Today we watched, some of this thing. I wasn't really watching it. Freud, TV on Netflix about Sigmund Freud, but I didn't like it. We cut out of that. But I've just been listening to, I haven't really been listening to much today, actually. A lot of silence. Building the buildings, it's extra time consuming on building it on the ground. When I build the buildings on top, it's more time consuming building the building on the Exceed 4000 building than in New York. I spent a few days building the buildings in New York, but it's a lot easier on that one because in New York I'm just having the building in one. But the Exceed 4000 I'm having each level every 5 meters because it's going to be the same measure of levels as the Exceed 4000 building, which has 800 levels, so you can compare the size better. So anyway, I'm going to get back on that, restart it, and then just frickin' have to save it in all these different ones and see which one actually works before I can start working again. It's the weirdest thing. Alrighty, talk to you later, talk to you tomorrow.